Hi there. So today I'm here with 5 tricks to jumpstart learning a new language. Number 1, put yourself in situations where you have to speak your target language. For instance, this could be, and this is a big one, traveling to a destination where your target language is spoken. This one is a little tough, meaning it takes some courage to put yourself in a situation that is out of your comfort zone. But as somebody who has done this multiple times in my life, I highly recommend it because you learn a lot about yourself and also you learn the language that you really want to learn. You will be in situations where, I won't lie, you will feel like an idiot a lot of times, but you will quickly learn how to say the most important phrases and be able to figure out how to communicate well with somebody else. Might be at the basic level, but you will be really proud of yourself and really amazed by how much you can accomplish by going to another country and trying to speak their language and learning how they actually use it in real life and in actual practical situations. Tip number 2 is to go to a restaurant that serves food from the country that speaks your target language. So here in San Diego, and I think a lot of parts in the US, we can often go to a Mexican restaurant, and lo and behold, there are people from Mexico who work there. Oftentimes, there will be the server, for example, or the people who take your order if it's a counter. So, this works really well if they're not super busy and you get somebody who has a nice smile for you and makes you feel pretty welcome. I don't recommend this in every case, but use your judgment. And this is a great opportunity for you to, at the very least, learn food, words for food, in your target language, and also how to order food. Because let me tell you, ordering food in another country or anywhere you go in their target language is utmost important if they don't speak your native language. So that is a great way for you to learn some of the very basics, and something that we all have in common all across the world is that we enjoy eating. We have to eat, right, to survive, and most of us actually enjoy it. So it's something that we can all share and have in common with each other, and that's especially what you can do in your target language. Okay, tip number 3 is to find a native speaker to practice with. This does not work so well if you know somebody really intimately, if they're your really good friend or even your partner. I don't really recommend this because most of the time people want to, in closer relationships, we want to share really intimate things about ourselves. I don't know, have that confidence with somebody else. And oftentimes that confidence is created by speaking our language that we share, that we have in common, and that we're completely both, in this case, thinking of 2 people that we're really comfortable with sharing. So what I recommend is a native speaker who you don't particularly know really well, but will feel comfortable enough speaking with. Language exchanges in this case are really good opportunities for, let's say that you have a language exchange and you meet up for an hour once a week. Half of that hour you can practice speaking your target language with the other person who's a native speaker, and then you being a native speaker can practice that person's target language with you. This is a really good way to get to know another person, get to also know some of their culture, and to be able to talk about things that you have in common, or even, for example, talking about the news. That can often be good. Not talking about political news, but just something, current events that are happening maybe in your area, or books that you enjoy reading, something that you can find in commonality, and being able to practice that with each other. That's really great. So I highly recommend language exchange and finding a native speaker who you're not particularly really close with, and who's going to have a lot of patience with you, just as you would have patience for that person. Okay, tip number 3. This one is a good one, and I tell you it's a good one because I am tip number 3. Find a teacher who offers private or group classes that are really easy for you to access. For example, a lot of my students find that where I'm located is really accessible for them because they can drop by and have class with me after school, or after work, excuse me. Some of them are in school. Most of them are at work. And so that's really great. They work in downtown San Diego, for example, and they come out to the suburbs, and this is really perfect, and they can drop by. It's great. I'll get a lot of students that way who find the location convenient. This is great for them because it puts less stress on them. They have less excuses, in a most positive way that I can say that, to they don't have any, they're breaking down their barriers to being able to practice and learn because of the convenience factor. That really makes a big difference. I'm sure that makes a big difference for you. Online classes are a really great option for people who might have a private time at their home or in their office or even in their car when they're traveling. Especially for people who have to travel a lot for business, online classes are a really great resource. So find a teacher who you feel comfortable with and can connect with, and also is just very easy to access. I highly recommend that. Okay, tip number 4. Are you ready for this? This is a fun one. I recommend watching TV programs or movies in your target language. And so that means having, especially if it's on Netflix or DVD or somewhere where you can watch the program and you can choose the subtitles, that make all the difference. So listen to it in the native language, the language that they're speaking in the program. For example, I love La Casa de las Flores. Yeah, this is a great program on Netflix. It's a telenovela and it's hilarious. It's set in Mexico, and boy, did I learn a lot of Mexican phrases and the way that people talk who are at a certain education level. And I was able to be like, wow, okay, I can pick these things up in my speaking, especially when I'm in Tijuana or I'm with my Mexican friends. This is just a really great way. So what I did is that I listened to it in Spanish, and I also had the subtitles up so that I could read along too. Although I can understand Spanish completely and I speak Spanish very well, there were just some phrases that I wasn't familiar with or recognized, and I do really well, as a lot of people do, with not only just listening but reading it. If I read it, I seem to stick it to memory better. So that really, really helped. So listen to it, if you're at the basic level, listen to it in, for example, a program like La Casa de las Flores, listen to it in Spanish, but have the subtitles in English. If you're at a more advanced level, listen to it in Spanish and have the subtitles in Spanish. So these are just tips for you that would be really, really good for you to watch the programs, listen to the programs, and practice your target language. Okay, tip number 4. Here we go. I recommend that, this is tip number 5. Okay. We're skipping ahead here. Tip number 5. Here we go. Number 5. I recommend that you listen to music in your target language. This is really easy to do here near the border, because if you're practicing Spanish or if you're practicing English, the radio is like half in Spanish and half in English. You'll definitely find a station for you. But say that you're practicing another target language and you're in other parts of the US that the radio is just in English, for example. You could listen to online radio or satellite radio, or listen to something like Spotify. Spotify is really great because you can search for different music, you can be exposed to different music. You know, they comes up with like a discover playlist and other things where you can find out a whole genres of music that you've never heard before, and they're all in your target language. And it's based on, let's say that you listen to music in English and you like a particular style. I don't know, you like R&B or you like hip hop, or even if you like country, I don't know. Spotify will actually understand that, and then you start picking some in Spanish, and it'll start finding music that fits. So say you like country in English. Well, there's all this music from the north of Mexico that is really interesting, and it's their version of country music. I don't know, it might be appealing, and you'll definitely learn a lot listening to this music. So those are my 5 tips for you for tips or tricks to jumpstart learning a new language. All right, stay tuned for more.